This is something that's been rolling around in my head for a while now, and I remember giving somebody some writing advice recently, and sort of it kicked this thought up, so I figured I'd share it with everybody. But I think it applies to whether you're a writer or not, if you're in any kind of creative capacity, or even if you're trying to accomplish something on a personal level. There are two voices in our head when we're creating something. And the first voice belongs to a cheerleader, and the second voice belongs to a trainer. And that's the closest I can come to like identifying what these voices do. But basically, the cheerleader's voice is always saying what a great job you're doing, and every time you get to any kind of like milestone or goal, they're like, oh yeah, we knew you could do it, that's awesome, good for you, great, rah rah sis boom ba, you know? And for me, that's like, even just like looking at that first blank page and putting a word or a sentence or a paragraph on it, you know, you got the cheerleader's voice going, all right, let's go. You get done with the first chapter, you get done with the first draft, and it really is like you need that voice inside you saying, hey, you accomplished something, this is big. Then there's the trainer's voice, which is, of course, the hypercritical, ego-checking voice that says, wait a minute, yeah, I know you just finished the 300-page first draft, but you don't expect to publish this the way it is. I mean, this has a long way. You got a long way to go. And all I can think of is Mr. Shu from Glee. These kids are like busting their butts trying to get into, you know, regionals and nationals and all that stuff. And Shu is just sitting there. He's like shaking his head. He goes, "You guys are never going to make it if you keep doing it like this. You gotta do better than this." I also think of like you go to a gym and you have a trainer. Sometimes they'll be like, "Man, you really didn't bring your A game today," or "You're not pushing hard enough. You got to push harder than that if you ever want to get into shape." So those are the two different voices, and we need both of them, and they both need to be at the exact same levels in our heads. Because if one drowns the other one out, there's going to be problems. If the cheerleader voice is dominating everything, then you're going to be writing some crappy stuff. You're going to look at a first draft and go, oh yeah, this is a miracle. This is amazing. And you're not going to go back and fine tune it and edit it and take all the unnecessary parts out of it and streamline it and make it that diamond that it needs to be. But if you have the trainer's voice drowning out the cheerleader's voice, you will never, ever, ever finish anything. You will put it aside and go, I'll get to that later. This is just too daunting right now. This is just too demanding. You know, I've got too much work to do. You know, I already did so much work, and I'm going to have to do a lot more. And you may never put anything out if you do that, or you might just like abandon projects altogether if you have that voice in your head. So it all goes back to effort without quality control is just going to be a waste. But if you're constantly second guessing yourself, you're never going to accomplish anything. So there's my little bit of writing advice for today. Thank you. Peace out.